What's up, everyone? Back with Great Ace Attorney. How goes it? This is a different session, and it's been a few days, so I honestly kind of forget almost. But I went back and looked at the log a bit just to give myself a refresher on things. And, well, if there's one thing I'm good at, it's winning it, so let's do it.
The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his.
Hold it. But as we now know, there were 4 books and not 3.
Well, what difference does it make?
There's every possibility that the 4th book, in fact, belongs to the defendant's landlord.
Yes, that's the part I have a problem with.
Sorry?
Well, at the point that woman was stabbed, this landlord fellow was at home, wasn't he? Enjoying a fiery scrap with his wife or something, you said.
That's not exactly how I put it, no.
Well, anyway, the point is the fellow and his wife were somewhere else when it happened.
Huh. I think that's what you call a strong alibi. Yeah, so it would seem.
So it couldn't have been the landlord who did it, which only leaves the Nipponese fellow. Honestly, I can't see what all this palaver's about. It's a done deal, isn't it?
I suppose it is, since I have nothing witty left to say. Don't worry, I have something witty. Your top hat's dumb. It looks stupid. There. How's that? If there was some novel alternative explaining about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider. Hold it! So, you might be willing to change your decision, you mean? Oh my, such delight on your face. But I'm afraid I shan't be swayed by emotion. Despite what you may think of me, I am a very modern, metropolitan, and rational woman. Yeah, sure. That's great. If one reads the morning papers, it's all forgotten by tea time, isn't it? So why read them in the first place? You see? Modern, metropolitan, and rational thinking, wouldn't you say?
Not at all extreme.
As I see it, an overwhelmingly suspicious Japanese man has been implicated by overwhelming strong testimony. So despite 1 or 2 minor puzzlements, I do declare that the man is overwhelmingly guilty. Modern, metropolitan, and rational logic, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, sure. Overwhelmingly.
But us modern gals are always delighted to embrace new fads, you see.
Oh, trust me, that is true even to today.
So I'd be only too happy to consider an exciting new theory if you could come up with one.
I'd be happy to do that too, if only I could.
Let's do our very best not to disappoint the modern and metropolitan young lady.
Right. I'm glad you omitted rational there. Comedy.
Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window is closed, can it? Hold it! But what about the possibility that the window was open? What about it? I mean, there's just no way it could have been. How can you be so sure? The prosecutor fellow over there said it earlier, didn't he? Winters in London are no joke. You don't want to invite that sort of cold indoors. So no, that window wasn't open. Us Londoners like sitting by the fire and staying warm, see? But you couldn't categorically state that the window wasn't open, could you? It just wasn't. They wouldn't have opened it. Bro, there was a fire. I like you, you're a cool dude, but you're being kinda dumb right now, my man. You gotta think outside the box a bit. Also, not gonna lie, even if you are Londoners and you prefer to be inside by your fireplace, I don't know, the cold can feel pretty good for a short amount of time, if you ask me. I'd prefer the cold over the heat in some cases. Then what's the point of even having windows, huh?
Counsel, you will kindly refrain from childish bickering.
Oh, sorry. Somehow I need to show there's an undeniable possibility that the window is open. Because this young man isn't gonna budge otherwise. Well then. Oh boy, you.
Dearie me, it was only a little book. Hardly life-threatening even with a direct hit.
Hold it!
Oh boy. But the little book was on fire at the time, was it not?
With flames of lava, I'll have you know.
Ah, my voice is cracking again. Oh no. Every time, it's always with this woman's voice and no one else. There's really no such thing as a loving incendiary bomb. Nice dodge, juror number 5.
Well, he brought it upon himself. It's playing with fire to betray a fiery love. Isn't it? Well, don't you agree?
Well, any kind of betrayal is certainly a bad thing, yes. But I think the argument might have arisen out of your misunderstanding, Miss Garrett.
Never mind you that. The point is we were just having a jovial little dispute, nothing more.
Man, this student has Ultra Instinct or something. He keeps dodging every single one of these.
And I won't have any more of these suggestions that it was anything whatsoever to do with the crime.
Sorry, it took me a second to read that. It's hard to read and do that voice at the same time, because that voice in particular is like the hardest one I have to do. It's not as bad as when I had to do a voice for McGill did, because the Danny DeVito voice really took it out of me, not gonna lie. Right, well, we'll see about that. But what about juror number 5? Doesn't seem to be turning a hair at Mr. Garrett's relentless onslaughts. Who knows, maybe his wife is similar and he's just learned to dodge. It's almost as though he's used to it. What a gentle soul he is. Oh my god, did I actually just call it? I hope we see his wife in a future case and she does stuff like slam or beat the crap out of people.
Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tiny bit of trouble.
Hold it!
You just want to get this over with. How can you sit there and say something like that? A man's future is at stake here.
Well, him and me both then, like I said before.
What?
I told you already I'm a day laborer, aren't I? If I don't bring home some readies with me tonight, you'll find me floating face down in the Thames tomorrow morning.
What?
You heard me, my missus isn't one to mess about, you know. She can be fierce, believe you me.
Well, seems like called it. Another shining example of marital bliss, then.
A situation like this cropped up the other day. It was, well, do you know, it's funny, but I can't quite remember.
Yeah. So you're telling, what, did you lose your memories because you got beaten the crap out of so much by your wife? Sorry?
It was too frightening, that's the only thing. I must have blocked it out.
Helpful. I wonder if Mr. Beat will ever be dragged into the Thames by his scarf. Don't even go there, Mr. Sato. There must be some way to jog his memory about this. Well, considering the only one we haven't pressed is the old man here, maybe that's the answer.
Hey, come to think of it. We had a fire at home a while ago. It gave me the sneezes.
Oh wait, no. Sorry, I forgot my voice.
Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. It gave me the sneezes.
Hold it!
I gotta give him the southern old man voice, or whatever.
Sorry, I actually just went to confirm if my voice is right. Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defendant's culpability in this case?
Sorry, what's that? You have to speak up, lad.
Oh, this old man is gonna be the death of me. Actually, he's gonna be the death of Soseki Natsume, but that's beside the point. Could you tell us more about that fire?
It was last winter. My grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. It had 75 candles on the top, it did. What a sight to behold it was.
You put candles on a cake? Was it some kind of devil worship?
Of course not, it was an angel cake to celebrate my birthday, obviously.
It seems that's a common custom here in Great Britain, Mr. Naruhodo.
Anyway, I mustered up my puff to blow them out. Only I must have blown wrong somehow. The flames didn't go out, but candles went flying all over the room. The furniture caught and everything went up. The whole place filled with smoke.
Definitely sounds like devil worship to me. And by the sneezes, I presume you mean a cold. But how did you catch a cold from a fire?
What a fiasco was. The grandchildren, bless them, threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames. And then, because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, we had to open all the windows to clear it.
The windows. Aha.
The bad and winter air rushed over me like the devil dancing on my grave, it did. I caught a terrible cold from it. Put me in the hospital for a while. I won't forget that birthday in a hurry.
I knew it was devil worship all along. Something about this old man's story is playing on my mind for some reason. Awkward. We need to demonstrate who, apart from Mr. Natsume, could have attacked the young woman on the street. Sorry, that time I had to respond to someone. As well as how he or she could have done it. Yes, but once again, the jurors' statements are full of personal prejudice. Big shocker there. A lot of them seem convinced they're right, even in the face of logical arguments to the contrary. I think you're gonna need to pit them against each other to force them to accept an alternative explanation. Yes. I don't necessarily need to find contradictions between their assertions. Just a connection might do the trick. Alright, I'll see what I can do. If anything stands out, I'll go in for a strike. Left behind evidence of the seed. Novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed. Even if the woman was throwing books. Huh. To open one... Okay, yeah. Hitting you two.
Objection!
Bada boom. I love how the old man doesn't even react. He can't hear or see shit, so he just sits there unflinching.
I do? How exactly, Counsel?
Don't point at me again, I told you it wasn't me!
Yeah, what's that you say? Speak up, lad, speak up.
Juror number 3, do you see? Oh, me? See what, sir? Did you hear juror number 6's account of his birthday celebrations last year? You forgot to tell him happy birthday. Juror number 3 is the true culprit. It seems, despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter. Well, yes, of course, because it was an emergency. I mean, obviously, if the room was filled with smoke from a fire, then you'd be mad not to open the... Oh. I said it before he did it. He said the exact same. It's really funny how you can just look around on these things. Oh my god, look at his portrait. Look at his portrait in the bottom left. This dude looks like if this dude's head was and eyes were turned slightly, he'd be doing a PogChamp. Exactly. On the day in question, at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Garrideb household. And Mr. Garrideb had the following to say about it. The whole place filled with smoke.
Oh my.
Oh, my hat! Oh, wait, shoot. Can I save here? I feel like this is... I feel like I'm supposed to pursue this, but I want to see what happens if I don't. Therefore, to clear the smoke, either Mr. Garrideb or his wife almost certainly opened the door. That, you cannot deny, would be in no way out of the ordinary. No, I suppose it wouldn't.
When you get to my age, you learn a thing or two, you know? And I can tell you, you'd have to be a prize idiot not to open the window if there was a fire, eh?
Yes, of course. I think I need to reconsider my statement. Yes, please do. That's a step in the right direction, I think. It's definitely a possibility. Oh, shoot. Okay, whoopsies.
Objection!
Hold it!
Hold it. Oh. What?
I'm a banker, don't forget, an educated man. There's no contradiction as far as I can see. Quite so, Mr. Foreman. I will not permit a whimsical attack against the good members of the Curry. Of the Curry. Oh yes, the curry, very much. Yes, yeah. Yes. Curry is very delicious.
Alright. We're back here.
Excuse me!
Shot tomate. Juror number 4, do you have something to say about that? This is certainly a new animation here. Miss Garritup!
Oh, dearie me! What is the meaning of this? How dare you imply that I'm hiding who I really am?
It's imperative that you confirm something for the court. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now.
What is it?
When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window?
Well, I beg your pardon. What are you insinuating?
The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet and bookcase caught fire as they did. In a situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window.
And what if we did? Oh, alright then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the door. Which can't have been easy since I continued to give him a justly deserved book battering.
Even though your house was on fire?
Oh, you never stop throwing until the anger subsides. It would be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise.
Of course, I should have realized. That's a significant step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. You managed to establish that the window is open. We simply must have that added to Miss Garritup's formal statement. Okay?
Now you mention it, yes, the window was open at the time. I'd clean forgotten, but it's true.
There was some... Is there anything I'm missing in the court record, maybe? Like stuff I haven't examined yet, maybe? Can't examine this. Not much there. Well, I'm definitely not getting anything from that. Reporting officer was Rolly beat. Victim remains unconscious. Was gleaned from her personal effects. Apart from a single stab wound from a large knife, no other signs of injury. Did I ever examine the knife? Oh. The end of it is broken off. Hello. Oh, look here, Mr. Naruhodo. Just at the tip. Hehe. A small piece of the blade appears to be missing. You're right. Well spotted, Mr. Sato. I wonder what could have happened to it. Yes. You don't think it could still be lodged in the victim, do you? Oh dear, I do hope not. That sounds terribly painful. Huh. Oh. That didn't really give us any info, did it? I don't know if we're gonna get anything from this. Shoot. Let me save again. My brain juice is running low. I don't know how well I'm gonna do on this. Fires to open the windows. Okay, well they're green now, so I don't know what to do on that. Maybe I should press again?
Hold it!
The fourth book found at the scene of the crime shows very obvious signs of fire damage. And the title of the book is The Lion's Pride. The same title, in fact, as the book that Mr. Garritup told us he had been reading.
couldn't say.
On the day in question, did you or did you not throw your husband I mean, considering how strong she is, she probably could throw her husband. Did you not throw at your husband? The copy of the Lion's Pride that he had been reading.
I did. It was the first thing I could lay my hands on, so I hurled it straight at him. And now you come to mention it, yes. He was rather unsure in reading it, you're right.
Why did you not reveal this information to the court from the outset? Nice dodge.
Because I couldn't, you insolent little man, I didn't remember. At times like this, you pick up and throw whatever you can lay your hands on as well, you know.
I really don't.
Oh boy.
Oh, shoot.
I barely noticed I was throwing the book, much less the title of it.
Ciotto Matteo.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. What is it, juror number 5?
You know something? I've remembered what it was. That memory I'd blocked out. I was listening to what this granny was saying, brought it all flooding back. Who are you calling a granny? I'll kick your ass.
Oh,
Who are you calling a granny, you cheeky devil? As mischaritable a maid, I'll have you know.
her just casually looking at him. I think that's a unique... We haven't seen her look to the side like that before. The man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me that's not because he's so used to being hit all the time. See, that's what I said earlier. I'm sorry, guys. I lied to you. My name is not Tobias at all. It's actually Ryunosuke, apparently. Good.
It was about 2 weeks ago now. I just got back home after work, like... I put my hand in my pocket for the wages I just earned that day, and I nearly died. There was a hole. Every last penny had dropped out.
Oh dear, what a disaster.
You haven't heard the half of it, boy.
Oh?
The wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. I could hardly get the words out, but I told her straight. I've lost the day's wages, love. Next thing I knew, the blade was whistling past my ear. Stuck into the wall next to me, it did. About an inch deep.
No words, just terror.
I could smell it then, you know, that god-awful stench of the thermos. I was sure I was gonna end up face down in the muddy banks that night, I can tell you. Now that's a real disaster, isn't it?
I'll never use the word lightly again.
Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. When women lose their rag, they'll throw anything at you. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it.
Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't think that all women are short-tempered and unrefined. No, I wasn't thinking that. Throwing household objects at people is, well, it's so uncivilized. At least attack with honor, using a bow or the like. What? Attack? Who are you going to attack? I was thinking about that prosecutor. He needs to be knocked down a peg. Anyway, the man's word could be rather significant, I think. Alright, we'll come back to the bow and arrow thing later. If I dare.
If I dare. If I had one!
Kitchen knife really brought it. Wait a second. Knife. No way! Woman in a rage will hurl almost anything at you. The kitchen knife really brought that home to me. If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, it might... Oh my god. Did she... No, did she fucking throw a knife out the window in it and... God, that would be a coincidence.
Objection!
Those two statements clearly have a deeply significant connection.
Good grief, you mean they don't contradict each other? Explain yourself, counsel, at once.
Juror number 2. Do you think, perhaps, that this could be one such novel alternative?
Oh my, whatever it is.
Oh wait, sorry, I used juror number 4's voice. Oh my, whatever do you mean? Whatever do you mean? An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back.
What are you talking about?
We've demonstrated that the fourth book, The Lion's Pride, that was found at the scene of the crime, originated in Mr. Garrett's room on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Garrett household to the street below.
Oh, what's that now?
After all, Miss Garrett could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4?
What are you insinuating now? You little beanpole!
I'm beginning to think that ever since the true origins of this book came to light, perhaps she's had a feeling this might be what happened.
Now you listen here, you Eastern Gala. As the foreman of this jury, I demand a straight answer. You give us this yarn about some other object making its way out of the house, but what? What was it?
Really taking a big gamble here. That was a bold accusation to make, but I haven't any real evidence to back it up. But I'm certain that at the very least this warrants further investigation. Alright, Mr. Foreman, I'll try to explain the defense's theory. The other object that found its way from the Garrett household to the scene of the crime was the jackknife.
Take that!
Juror number 4, Miss Garrett.
What now?
I must apologize in advance for this. But I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before?
Oh,
Good Lord, Counsel, what on earth are you doing? That's the weapon that was lodged into the victim's back, man.
I know what I said. My lord, remember that when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Miss Garrett were in the throes of an argument. Miss Garrett was hurling anything she could at her husband, who'd been backed up against the window. A window that had been opened to clear the smoke, and through which a book sailed it to land at the crime scene.
You can't seriously believe that. The book was found in the victim's grasp.
Are you saying that it flew out the window and across the street to land neatly in her hand?
Huh? Even my missus hasn't got a name like that.
Yes, I admit there are many details we don't yet understand. But that's the point. That's precisely why. We must not allow this trial to end. Not right now.
oh my.
Eh? Miss Garrett, your answer, please. Have you seen this knife before or not?
Ooh, ooh. Thud. Sorry, I really can't handle the bladed stuff.
My lord, I wish to change my decision. I'm a woman of my word, after all. Thank you, madam.
Yes, I agree. I certainly didn't see this coming, but I just don't think it would be right for this trial to come to an end now with so many unanswered questions.
Even fair play's going along with it. What a dude. Mr. Foreman!
I'd have to agree. Not that I think that Granny didn't mind.
Yes, you know what? I'm not quite happy about this at the moment either.
All together now, ladies and gents.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just gonna chalk the old man not agreeing. The old man not agreeing, I'm gonna chalk up to him not hearing. We did it! Oh, congratulations, Mr. Naruhodo.
So, as a result of the defense's summation examination, a number of jurors' leanings have changed.
Who knows, we might have gone up to more than 4 if the old man could hear and if the maid wasn't passed out.
2 jurors called guilty against 4 now calling innocent. Accordingly, the opinion of this court is divided. and this trial will continue.
Uh-oh. Van Zykes is going to rip into us now. And the jury. Here it is. Here it is. What? Really? Really? Oh, okay, never mind. We just changed our position, I guess, back to the defendant seat.
Now then, Lord Van Zykes, how does the prosecution wish to proceed? You are all fucking idiots, and I will destroy this chalice because of you. This trial is rapidly descending into a farce.
Hey, you're the one who got frickin' PO'd because we found out something you didn't. Because we talked to the landlords while you were too busy being your fancy little self. See, I can mock your voice because I'm the one that's voice acting you here.
Like a corked wine, the first few sips are bitter enough.
And chalice number whatever.
But what follows is so repugnant, it's good for nothing save the gutter. If I may, Lord Van Zykes. The defense has just put forth a credible alternative explanation for what happened. Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Foreman? The defense's argument is a joke to which I barely know how to respond, but let me start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourselves better with the relative positions of those places being discussed.
What do you mean by that? What's his angle this time? What? Oh, we're getting a close-up.
It should already be more than apparent that between the crime scene and the Garrett household runs a rather wide street, Briar Road. Which means that the distance from the Garrett's house to the scene is some, yes, 15 yards.
Let me see. 15 yards. That's around 14 meters. Yeah, I'm not good at measurements. 14 meters? Oh, that's a little farther than I imagined.
And as you ladies and gentlemen of the jury rightfully noted as having portentous significance, the fourth book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, the smoldering book wantonly hurled by the lady of the house traveled some 15 yards to land on the opposite side of the road, neatly between the collapsed victim's fingers and thumb. Is that your final conclusion, my learned and deluded friend?
Did you not hear what she said? She said... Can I go back far enough for this? Probably not. Okay, we can't see it, but she said that the first thing she threw was the book. She found the closest and first thing she could throw, which was the flaming book. And then she yeeted that out the window. So that means that she was still alive at that point. If the knife was thrown after, say, oh, I don't know, let's say the victim saw the book, the flaming book laying at her feet, and because it was probably snowing out or whatever, the fire got dampened real quick. And then she bends down to pick it up, and then a knife comes flying out the window and lands on her back as she's bent over to pick up the book. How about that? Does that sound plausible? Just saying, that sounds like something that could happen. I mean, what do I know? It could be something like the placement of the ringmaster's head. I don't know.
And did the jackknife follow a near-identical trajectory to plunge into the middle of the victim's back? This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think. Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have some believable plots. Sholmes in the gallery like, I heard that, you know. I will get Iris and her bazooka in here, good sir. There's nothing I can say to that.
That prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice. Yeah, I know, right? God, I freaking love Susato. She takes no shit from this prosecutor. Like, she constantly trash talks him, and I am here for it. He deserves it. Miss Susato! Serialized detective stories are pathetic, are they? How dare he? Oh, never mind. Oh, man. Maybe let's pick our battles here. My lord, might I be allowed to speak?
As judicial assistant, you may speak for the defense. Yes, go ahead.
The prosecution may consider the idea a fantasy, but what the defense has postulated was believable enough to persuade the jury to change its leaning. And as such, the court has a duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible. To that end, juror number 4, Miss Joanne Garridub, must be called to testify and submit to cross-examination.
Saints alive! A cross-examination of a juror?
Well, you're probably going to have to get a replacement juror, I would think.
Order. Well, this is highly irregular. It is unprecedented for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand.
Objection!
Bro, oh. Music fades out as he chucks another bottle.
And unnecessary.
Listen, you can say that, but literally, look at the jurors we have. I'm pretty sure literally half of them have a connection to this case. Juror number 4, the wife of the landlord. Juror number 5 was working the street that was supposed to be a big problem earlier in the trial. Juror number 6 supposedly fell down in front of the defendant. Like, we could call half of these goddamn jurors to the stand if we really wanted to.
Lord Van Zykes. There are already witnesses on the stand whose testimony the defense may further cross-examine. If my learned friend's farcical theory has any truth in it, then both a burning book and a jackknife must have flown through the sky before this couple's eyes. And we must assume they would have been able to testify accordingly. They would be able to testify accordingly.
I don't know about the husband, but maybe the wife. The husband might have been asleep.
What say you, witnesses?
Yes, sir. Constable Roy Lee B. reporting for duty, sir.
Well, good morning, officer.
Sorry for dozing off until now, sir. I haven't slept for a month on account of a villain who's appeared on my beat, sir. Oh, they are so heroic, these Linden Bobbies. Patricia, my darling, I've been neglecting you, but no more. Oh, Rolly, my hero, you make me swoon.
Alright, get a room, you two. There's testimony to be given.
Oh.
And order the witnesses on the stand to testify again.
It's very rare that we get denied of like an opportunity to cross-examine someone else.
State forthwith about the court any details pertaining to the defendant's alternative explanation of events.
Yes, sir. All right. Constable Beats report. This case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrett, believe me, London. Bobby is good for his word. You see, the windows on the top floor of the Garrett house are top-inch casements. I couldn't rhyme that. Obviously, if anything had been thrown out of the window, we would have seen it. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir.
Well, this is quite startling. Top-hinged casement windows. That detail was not in the police report, Constable.
Yes, sorry about that. It must have been a little drowsy.
You cannot excuse your sins with drowsiness every time, Constable. Constable, unlike the person who is voice acting me right now.
No, sir. Sorry, but... what exactly is a top-hinged casement window?
And you cannot excuse your ignorance with such trite remarks, my learned friend.
Of course, sorry. I found it, Mr. Naruhodo. Cast your mind back to the windows in Mr. and Mr. Mr. and Mrs. Garrett's room. Alright, I'll try. So the window opens in order to allow air to circulate inside the house. But as it's a top-hinged casement window, it swings open along the upper edge, you see?
I'm glad you've rectified your ignorance. A casement window's most prominent feature is its stay, a metal bar which prevents the window from being opened beyond a certain amount.
It prevents its opening? This is all news to me. Absolutely correct, sir. In other words, if a book or knife were to have been thrown through the open window, it would have clattered against the pane and fallen straight down to the pavement below. Oh no. Wait a second. Did the crime happen on the other side of the road? Is this like a big thing where like the crime scene was moved to the other side of the road? No.
You see the problem then? Good, your education in Windows is complete.
Yay! Congrats everyone, we now know all about Windows 10. Yay!
There was never any possibility of either the book or the knife traveling 15 yards over the road.
But, okay, then, yeah, that just means it would have fallen straight down from the window and stabbed into the victim or whatever. The question is, why would the body be... or, not the body, person wasn't dead, but why would the victim be moved to the other side of the road? Because Natsume said he didn't remember his way home, basically. So there's something there. I don't know.
That is, unless the window pane had been shattered. Something we've discounted already.
That can't be... Did you see that, Rolly? That young Japanese man just collapsed in agony. Oh yes, my darling, I saw it. I saw how he crumbled before me. Oh, Rolly, you're so strong. Swoon. How is this happening? I haven't even started the cross-examination, and already my argument's been destroyed.
Constable, if you could drag yourself upright again, the court awaits your cross-examination. Yosho. My lord. Oh good. Another desperate situation. My favorite.
Cross-examination. Constable Beats report. Next time on Great Ace Attorney. Adios, ciao, and bye-bye. Signing off until next time. Ja, mata ne.